Hello. Thank you for doing your homework. All right. So you have this review sheet, and I'm going to start by doing the story problems with you. And the key to these story problems is understanding them. So I like to use a tape diagram, and you might want extra paper to do the solutions. So the first step is to read it. Mr. L has a goal of reviewing fractions for 2.5 hours. The class spent three-fourths of an hour on subtracting fractions and four-fifths of an hour on adding mixed numbers. If they use the remaining time, how much time will be spent reviewing how to simplify fractions? So, to do that, we want to make a bar model, right? Just to understand what it is. And anytime I make a bar, the first thing I have to ask myself is, what is the whole? So if I have a bar here, the whole is my goal, right? So that's 2.5 hours that I want to review. All right. So then let's see what we know. We know that three-fourths is being used on subtracting, and we know that four-fifths is being used on adding, right? And then the remaining is going to be simplifying. So how can we go about figuring out what this is, what this remaining is? Well, I can see two ways. One, we could add three-fourths plus four-fifths and subtract that from 2 1/2. Or we could do 2 1/2 minus three-fourths, and then that answer minus four-fifths. Either one works. Um, maybe I'll, oh God, what do we want to do? I'm going to, I think I'm going to add these two. So wherever you have room that might not be on this paper, you're going to add these. So three-fourths plus four-fifths. Okay. So 15/20 plus 16/20 equals 31/20 equals 1 11/20. All right. So that means 1 11/20. That's this. Okay. That equals 1 11/20. That's how much time we've spent so far. So then, just ignore this for now. I'm going to use this area. This is why you might want the back. So now what I'm going to do is figure out how much time is left to work on simplifying. So my goal was 2.5, and I'm subtracting what I've already done, 1 11/20. Right? Over here. So now I just do what I do. I do it vertically. So 2 1/2 minus 1 11/20. Okay. So we know that we have to make these equal, these denominators equal. Ooh. I can make halves into 20ths. I'm not going to multiply them both because otherwise I'm going to have 40ths. I don't want 40ths. So I'm just going to multiply the 2 by 10. And I'm going to get 2 and 10/20 minus 1 11/20. Whoa, big problems. I'm going to move it down here so I have more room. So 2 and 10/20 minus 1 and 11/20. 20ths. All right, I can't do 10 minus 11, can I? So I'm going to borrow and make this 1, and I'm adding 20 20ths here, right? I'm doing 10 20ths plus the whole of 20 20ths. So I'm going to have 30 20ths. Now, 30 minus 11 is 19 20ths. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have 19 20ths of an hour left to study simplifying fractions. That's the answer. But if you wanted extra credit, you could tell me how many minutes that is. And so if we broke 60 minutes into 20ths, each 20th would be 3 minutes. So 3 times 19 would be 57. That's extra. Okay. All right. So I think what we should do now is let's start problem 2. Ready? Phoebe is making 2 gallons of fruit punch. She uses 4/5 gallons of lemonade, 2/3 gallons of strawberry juice. How many gallons of Sprite will she use? Very similar to the last problem. So, bar model. What is my whole? My whole is 2. What are my parts? 4/5, 2/3, and unknown. Okay, so you could add them and then subtract. This time I'm going to do the other way so you can see both ways. This time I'm going to do 2 minus 4/5. I can do that in my head. 2 minus 4/5. Think about it. 4/5 is 1/5 away from being 1. So it's like saying 2 minus 1 is 1. But since it's 4/5, it's like it's going to be 1 and 1/5, right? Because 1/5 plus 4/5 would be 1. So 1 and 1 is 2. So 2 minus 4/5 is 1 and 1/5. And then I'm left with 1 and 1/5 minus 2/3. It's kind of nice. I have fewer problems to do. All right, so I'm going to do that sucker vertically. So 1 and 1/5 minus 2/3. All right, we know that we have to make the denominators equal. Okay, so times 3 times 5. Then that equals 1 and 3/15 equals 10/15. Then I go to do 3 minus 10, but I can't. So I'm going to take from this and add 15. And this is going to become 18/15. 18 minus 10 is 8/15. 0 minus 0 is 0. So 8/15. There's 8/15 of Sprite, 18/15 of a gallon. All right? The key on these problems is draw a tape diagram. You need to have a tape diagram tomorrow. Figure out what the whole is, figure out the parts, figure out what's missing. And when you're subtracting these, if that's the kind of problem, you have 2 options. You can do 2 minus 4/5 plus 2/3, right? You can do it like that. Or you can do what I did the first time and do, or what I did this time, do 2 minus 4/5. Then whatever that answer minus 2/3. Different orders. Excuse me. Same answer. I find depends on the problem. Sometimes one is less work than the other. All right. I hope that helped. And yes, did this take time? Mm-hmm. But to learn stuff like this, to learn hard things, you got to put time into it. All right? Okay, see you tomorrow.